What's up, everybody, and welcome to Shapes of Gaming, the weekly conversational podcast all about video games that's unedited, unfiltered, and always unhinged. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Stenson, Neocharge on PSN, and joining me, as always, for episode number 11 is the Retro Gaming Encyclopedia, Bob Harriman, Leon Lyon Hartley on PSN. How's it going, man?
You can't fucking get rid of me, folks. I'm still here. No, I'm doing good, man. It's been a busy week. I turned around and blinked and was like, oh shit, it's already time to record. We gotta get this put together. Like, I feel behind the ball, and it's not that I've been doing nothing. Trust me, it's just been I've been doing so fucking much that I didn't even realize what day of the week it was. What about you, dude?
Oh, yeah, dude, I've been so busy with stuff. Life is life. We're, barreling down it. There's going to be a conclusion at some point. It's going to be good or bad. Regardless, it'll be exciting. So I'm just going through the motions, trying to get through this shit, and we'll see how it goes. But we're here to talk about games, and if you have anything else you want to say, what are you drinking?
I was going to say games and always drinking. I went with a little refreshing. I don't know why. I was just walking through the store. Everybody's going to know this one, but I love it. It's Not Your Father's root beer. It's a malt beverage, but it tastes like a root beer, but with that little bit of extra adultness, if you know what I mean. It's absolutely delicious, very refreshing, especially in the summertime. As a guy, I like my darker beers. I like my stouts and my porters and my reds and my browns. But come summertime, when it's 90 degrees, that shit'll put you on your ass real fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that links up with a little bit more of life stuff, because we hung out recently for the 4th of July on Friday. You, me, and a listener of the show, Alex. And we just came over to my place, talked about some games, watched some fireworks, played some games, played some Doom the Dark Ages, showed Alex the light of PS5 Pro. And I think Death Stranding 2, the intro, sold him. What do you think?
Oh, I'm very convinced of that, and I apologize to his wife already, because that was, you could see it in his face, folks, when he lit up Death Stranding 2. And if you've played, you know this opening scene I'm talking about, where you question whether it's pre-rendered or not. And spoilers, it's not pre-rendered. I saw the look in his eye, because he's a PC gamer. He loves his TV. He's like, oh, I can do this on my graphics card. I can do this on my rig. And I'm like, just wait, buddy. And the second he fired that up, I saw the light bulb go off, and I went, oh, I need to get me one of these fucking things. This is nice.
Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. We saw him see the light of day. And another one will eventually. We're almost there. We'll help push him over the edge, and he'll join the family of us PlayStation folks.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. And we'll certainly welcome him with open arms and give him a huge backlog to play, because there's so much on the PS5 Pro. But yeah, we had some drinks. We watched some fireworks. You actually brought the Not Your Dad's root beer. And that was very fun. We made some smoked cheddar beer brats, your recipe. Those were delicious, and we should definitely do that again. That was very fun. So,
yeah. I agree, man. Let's do that again. I will say it was a little weird, because I'm a grill guy, but then I realized yours was a grill smoker, so it was a quick pivot and shift. And I think you give me another 1 or 2 times behind that smoker, and I'm gonna make some food that's gonna blow you away. Trust me, man.
oh yeah, dude, I love my smoker. I have a Traeger. It's a pellet smoker, electric, and it's incredible. I showed you the app. You're like, you have your fucking grill connected to Wi-Fi in the app? And I'm like, yeah. And I powered it on, and I saw the temp. Yeah, I loved it. I actually just made some smoked salmon. I take just the salmon, I smoke it to about 120 degrees, and then I pan fry it, get that little crisp on it to around 135, 140. And it's delicious, dude. I use that smoker all the time, and I intend to use it more. I've made brisket, made pulled pork, all kinds of shit. It can act as an oven or a high temp, searing machine for steaks. It can go to one from 165 controlled temp to 600 degrees uh, at most. So, and I'm not. This isn't an ad. It sounds like an ad for Traeger. But no, we're not paid by Traeger. I'm just a big proponent of the grill, and I've had it for about 4 years now, and it's amazing. I love it. The food is delicious, as you saw and tasted, and looking forward to making some more stuff on it.
You know, the moment Alex had with that PS5 Pro,
Yeah.
I had that same moment with the Traeger, as well. So I
Nice.
apologize to my wife because I'm going to make a bad financial decision in the future.
More
uh,
like a good financial investment for
yeah.
delicious smoked food. Yeah, no, if you're interested, I'll point you in the right direction for sure. And if anyone else is interested and they want delicious smoked meats, let me know because I did a lot of research. Shout out to my good friend Zach as well. He pointed me in the right direction. But I do a lot of research before I purchase things, and you have to, right? I find value in few things rather than just get a lot of things that'll break easily. Uh, and I do a lot of research. I did like a year of research before I got my TV, and you've seen from my recommendation on your panel that I think I did a good amount of research. And shout out to Caleb as well. He gave me the recommendation for the Sony TV. But yeah, uh, value in things is important, especially if you want them to last. And I'd say Traeger is the way to go if you want a good electric, convenient, technologically advanced smoker that makes delicious smoked meats. And you can bake a fucking cake in there, man. It's like an oven too.
See, I'm telling you, man, that's where it's gonna get me. Is I've got a cheesecake recipe, and I need to find a way to do a smoked cheesecake. I know
Ooh.
you can.
Oh yeah.
Well, like you said, so all the research you do on the products you buy, we call that the TISM in the professional industry, folks. I do
Twas the
this.
tism.
'Twas the TISM, my lord. Uh, I do the same thing, but for like recipes and cooking, I'll look and I'll research and I go, okay, how does this person do it? What does this person do? And then I go into the history of it because I'm like, okay, some people are purists about their food, and then I stop and I go, if you're a true purist, you would be eating shit lasagna. Like, let's be honest, folks. The original lasagna was just some noodles with cheese. So experiment a little bit, and I think about it and go, okay, is this type? I'm the kind of asshole that sits there and watches Food Network stuff because I want to learn. I want to be like, oh, I never thought about combining this with that to end up with this, or that's the proper technique to make this kind of sauce. I nerd out on that stuff all day long, man.
Oh yeah, same here. Eat we live to eat. We don't eat to live. And I think we're both foodies, and I know a lot of great places around the Springs. I like trying new food places, and yeah, I watch Food Network too. That's where I got my awesome mac and cheese recipe that requires no rinsing of the noodles. But I love to cook, especially meat and stuff like that. And it's ironic because we got a question on the Discord regarding a food item that we can address it now or address it after the cast. We're kind of in the food realm. We might as well,
I
right?
totally forgot about it, and you know what?
Yeah.
We call this a good segue, folks.
Oh yeah, good segue. We can go right into our listener questions, and we did get one recently. So let me bring that up, and we will talk about it. So it's regarding food, and the question was from. Let me get there here.
Just from
Uh,
Jay.
yeah, just from Jay. Shout out to Jay, the listener. He sent in a question, and he said, "Hot or fridge temp pizza?" So, which do you prefer? Pizza cold or hot? And that wrapped into another question that is very divisive that we'll go into as well. But Bob, what do you think? Hot or cold temp pizza? What is your preferred method of consumption for a delicious pizza pie?
This is where I'm going to be known as that unhinged motherfucker in this entire podcast who just says things. But I'm telling you, folks, cold pizza, is amazing. I am a firm believer in the ability to just grab the slice and be like, "Oh, look, it has all the flavoring. All the toppings are in place. It's not falling apart off of this slice and then I got hot lava red sauce burning my mouth. Guess what? It's all there. And if I want to heat it up, you can always heat it up. You throw it in the freaking toaster oven or don't microwave it. Don't be a heathen. But you throw it in the toaster oven for 5 minutes, and hey, there's your hot pizza if you really want it. But cold pizza, I'm telling you, especially after a couple of beers, cannot be beaten.
All right. So let me preface that I love hot pizza and I love cold pizza. But if I go to a restaurant, a pizza restaurant, and I order a pizza, I'm not going to say, "Oh, can I have that pizza cold, please?" And are you kidding me, dude? The melted cheese dripping and stretching as you take that piece of pizza and put it in your mouth, that delicious fresh pie taste. If you're reheating pizza, you do not get that, and you know it. I 100% think that pizza hot is the preferred method to eat it. Now, I love cold pizza, but that's just the aftermath. That's after you've enjoyed that nice, hot, fresh pie and you want to keep it for the morning after. Dude, cold breakfast pizza, amazing. But dude, preferred method of eating pizza is hot, and I just don't understand if you think that cold is. Cold is convenient, but you get the harder cheese, and the cheese is like not gooey. I don't understand. I'm not knocking cold pizza. I love cold pizza. But if you ask me, "Hey, you want some pizza?" and the next question out of your mouth, "Do you want it cold or hot?" I'm going to look at you like you're a fucking like psychopath. What? No, I want hot pizza. Name a pizza delivery or a pizza place or a pizza restaurant that serves you cold pizza. Oh wait.
Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, no, that's raw though. And
I'm sorry, Papa John's. Papa John's.
oh,
Because we know those motherfuckers are always late and it's already going to be cold anyways.
but it's intended to be hot. And speaking of Papa Murphy's, we need to go and I get the take and bakes. And guess where I bake those? At
Oh,
Traeger. I smoke it. I smoke the pizza. You know who else does that? Cogstone Brewery. And you can get their flatbreads and you can get them raw, unbaked, uncooked. Throw it in the smoker. You get a smoked pizza. Guess what that is? It's a hot pizza.
I will say this. So it happened today too. So this is my preemptive. I'm sorry, dude. My kid, he'll order a pizza from like Little Caesars, get a $5 hot and ready. I wait. He'll eat like 3/4 of that son of a bitch because that's what 16-year-old boys do. And then he throws it in the fridge. And then dad goes in there later that evening because the question is fridge temperature pizza. I'll go in there when it's at that fridge temperature and I'll just grab a slice, break it off, walk away. And I'm sorry, that's been me stealing your pizza, but don't leave it in the fucking fridge. I'm
Yeah,
kidding, of course.
no, I have nothing against cold pizza, but my preferred way of eating it, and I think most people's preferred way is hot. But prove me wrong on the Discord. Let us know. Go into the questions, go into the general comments, and let us know how you like your pizza, hot or cold. What is your preferred way? And answer this next question because it's the question on everybody's mind when it comes to pizza. And it was funny because I was like, "Oh, I like that question we got," and we talked about this one-on-one before it was even brought up in the Discord. And that's, do you like pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in the camp of it's fucking delicious. And I'm sorry if you don't like it, then I just assume you have the gene that assumes cilantro tastes like soap because you have no taste. I said what I said. Fight me on the Discord. No, seriously, I've always loved it. I people like to use it with Canadian bacon, which I think is it's a very classic pineapple on pizza. I know. Once again, I'm going to be the unhinged guy. Pineapple with black olives. is amazing because you get the sweet and then that tangy saltiness that comes from the olives and then the savory on top of the cheese. You get this whole gambit of like flavors hitting your tongue. It's delicious. I love it.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. The sweet and savory. I 100% agree. I love pineapple on pizza. It's a Hawaiian delicacy. You get the pineapple, you get the ham or the Canadian bacon with the red sauce, cheese on a pie. Give it to me all day. I have had it with olives, and I agree. The olives give it a nice little flavor profile. And yeah, I'm a big fan of sweet and savory. I don't understand why people have such a big problem with pineapple on pizza. One, if you haven't tried it and you're judging it, don't do that. If you're knocking it and haven't tried it, you have no say. Go try pineapple on pizza and then make a decision. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Love pineapple on pizza. I will get it at a place. Like I will get the Hawaiian style pizza. And yeah, I love it. I love the sweet and savory. And I don't think it's really, I don't see why it's such a big divisive thing out there. It's just a sweet and savory treat, man. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think it goes back to what I originally said. And I don't mean to be mean to anybody out there, but there are food purists who say this is what is defined as, and they live in that box. And if that's the comfort you live in, I totally get it. Some people have an obsession with not, for example, not letting their food touch. I get it, right? But pizza evolves, food evolves. It speaks to our culture. The most, like, you think of the most common thing, tomatoes were not brought into Europe originally. So when we talk about pizza and you put in the sauce on there, well, that's not originally from Europe anyways. The tomato didn't come from Europe. So if you want to be a purist, you might as well take the tomato off, and then if you, oh wait, sorry, that's not where the cheese came from, so you might as well go ahead and remove that off. I guess you have bread. So, like, I get it. Just live a little, folks. And I get it. Trust me, there's one food in this world I will not eat. I have an absolute cannot touch it kind of thing, and it's not an allergic reaction. It's a visceral reaction. My body rejects it and goes, "Ugh, that's the most disgusting thing in the world." But outside of that, live a little. You never know.
Exactly. Take those experiments, experiment with your food. Try something different, right? And by the way, I like my pineapple on pizza hot. And
I like
if
it
you,
cold.
yeah, no, I like cold pineapple pizza as well, but I prefer it hot. And if you're like, ew, hot pineapple, that's weird. You ever had grilled pineapple? You ever had grilled pineapple slices? Pineapple hot is amazing and it brings out the flavor. And actually, if you want to get scientific on it, the colder the item, the less flavor you taste. The hotter the item, it hits your taste buds more and you taste it more. So if you like eating cold pizza, you must be eating shitty pizza and you don't want to taste it as much.
I will say, grilled pineapple. You know what would
Oh yeah.
really do well for the pineapple? A Traeger smoker.
Yeah, I have done it. I've done it. I'm down to do it
Oh,
again. Oh yeah, yeah, with some smoked chicken and some pineapple glaze or mango glaze or something. Oh yeah, so it's unlimited, endless possibilities. You can pretty much smoke anything on the Traeger, including fruit. So yeah, thank you so much for that question. We really appreciate you writing in, Jay, on Discord, and keep those questions coming. We're going to read them on the cast, and if people are listening to this podcast and they don't know what this Discord is or where we are, how do they join?
yeah. So that's the great question. You can find the landing page with all of our links for our social media, where you actually can hear this podcast, as well as the Discord channel. You'll go to https://linktr.ee/shapes of gaming. That's linktree/shapes of gaming. https://linktr.ee/shapes of gaming. You'll find us there. That's your landing page. Come join this community, and feel free to throw out some more unhinged questions, because that was divisive. But I know you folks out there. You got some better stuff for us.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we love getting the community engaged and having a conversation because that's what this podcast is all about. Another thing we got a question on that is relevant to what you just said is: Are we on YouTube? Are there any plans for YouTube? We actually are. We are on YouTube, not video yet. We're working on that, but you can find us on YouTube at it's at Shapes of Gaming. And if you can't remember that the link tree uh, URL, then you can always just go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, and just search Shapes of Gaming. We're there, and we have the Discord link invite on our socials as well. And we're going to try and ramp up social stuff soon. We're just lining things up, man. We're on episode 11. And like we said in the beginning, this show is going to keep evolving, and we'll shape it with the community. So,
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah. I don't know. You got anything else going on in your life before we kick this off?
uh not really. Been playing Death Stranding, which we'll talk about, but other than that, nope.
All
So
right.
we'll get into the news.
Without further ado, who wants to go first? You want to start this off this week, or
I'll start it off. A news item that broke, I think, when we were either recording last episode or shortly after. Neil Druckmann, the creative director of Naughty Dog, famous for Uncharted, The Last of Us, and soon to be Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, and also uh, involved with the HBO show The Last of Us. He has announced he's stepping down from HBO. So when I read this, I was like, I'm stepping down. And I'm like, oh gosh, don't please, from HBO. And I want to focus on Naughty Dog. Dude, he was an intern there and became the creative director. This is what he's ingrained in and what he was honestly born to do. He gave us greats like The Last of Us and Uncharted. They made Crash Bandicoot, of course. And I'm pretty sure he was there for most of that. So he recently dipped his toes into TV show and directing, and he directed just a very small few The Last of Us HBO episodes. And he's wanting to step down from that and really focus on Naughty Dog and the developer and the game development. And I couldn't be more happy about this. Focus all your energy on your new IP, Intergalactic, and I can't see what they do. I can't wait to see what they do with that game, and I'm super excited. He's, you know, narrowing his focus into what he was honestly born to do.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about it. He started as a fucking intern here at Naughty Dog, and then rose through the ranks to now be the head of the studio. Um, I've had aspirations to do certain things, not from in video gaming, but with other parts of my life. And big congrats to him to being there. But the part of this that I wonder, because it's obviously important for him to step back, because I get a feeling that Naughty Dog, we got Intergalactic's. Let me put it this way: we got Intergalactic's announcement at the Game Awards last year. This was 6 months ago. So almost seven now, as of the date of the day of this publishing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder at what point have they gotten to development in this game and the development cycle, and they being Naughty Dog have come back to Neil and said, "Look, we're glad you got to go do this and you got to put a bucket list item completed, but we need you, man. Like we need your mind, we need your drive, we need your vision to be able to get this thing over the finish line, because quite frankly, it's out in the wild. It's there. And the last thing we need is to have a cancel just or a game just quietly go quiet for another 3 years, because we're already gone how long since their last release. With Last of Us 2, it's time, buddy. And and I get that, but the part that I did want to lean to on this and I don't know if Neil feels this way. I don't know him personally. I think he's a great individual, but think about it this way, Matt. You helped with Jack and Daxter and Uncharted with Amy Hennig, and you built this reputation, and you climbed through the ranks, and you created The Last of Us. Smash hit, probably in my top 20 games easily. You created The Last of Us Part 2. While divisive, is a very well beloved game and still sold extremely well. And then you sold Last of Us Part 1 Remastered. Then you sold us Last of Us Part 1 and 2 compilation remastered, and The Last of Us Part 2 reimagined remastered edition. And then there's the HBO show that's selling. Um,
And don't forget Factions.
and don't forget Factions. The thing that, as a creative mind, the last thing I would personally, and I don't know if he feels this way, but I could see it, is, do you want to be known as the guy who was the Last of Us guy, or do you want to be known as Neil Druckmann, the major hitter in the industry? Because think about it this way. We have the great mind of an individual who just created a game that we're talking about today. He's known for a lot of things, but he is known as a creative and driving force in the industry. I think Neil doesn't want to get caught into that. And it's just speculation. I want to specify that. But I think he doesn't want to get caught into that creative rut of, all right, cool. Let's get this Last of Us monkey off my back. I want to spread my wings. And please bring Intergalactic on, because I'll be there day one.
Oh yeah, it looks incredible. And yeah, shout out to Neil. He's one of the greats. And the fact that he went and poured his love of The Last of Us and that IP from a video game and wanted to make sure that the TV show reflected a lot of what the video game was, shows dedication and passion on his end. I watched season 1 of The Last of Us. It was great. I like the game better, but that's like the person like, oh, the book's better, blah, 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 blah. I just personally like the game better. And I have not watched season 2. I've heard things about it, but I can't really comment on it. I've only seen clips and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil anything, but I haven't watched it, and I don't intend to watch it. And if that tells you anything, I heard Craig Mazin wrote a lot of the stuff for season 2, and Neil wrote an episode or two for season 1. And I think he was more ingrained in that and had more creative direction. So I just love that Neil is going back to focus on the video game. I think video games are the ultimate form of storytelling. You are in the shoes of the character, you control the character. I think you create a more heavy relationship with the character, and when you're controlling them, and it's not kind of shown to you. But that's just me, and I'm so glad that he's going back to Naughty Dog and going head down focused on Intergalactic, because man, Intergalactic looks so awesome. And he said it's heavily inspired by Cowboy Bebop and Guardians of the Galaxy and Akira. Fuck yeah. Give it to me. And with Naughty Dog's like polish and precision and amazing gameplay mechanics, dude, Naughty Dog is top tier, in the top 3 at least, for a PlayStation first party studio. And this is a new IP from them. I couldn't be more excited, and I'm so glad Neil is focusing on this project. It's just great news for gamers.
Yeah. But
So,
welcome back to the community, Neil.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. What else we got?
Let's see. So I'm going to bring that. I'll take this one. As a no surprise to anybody, actually, in all seriousness, this is a huge surprise to a lot of people. Some of the community's been asking for. This one comes from Video Games Chronicle, but this broke right after we recorded last week. But Helldivers 2, the smash hit from last year, and one of my top 3 games of last year, is finally coming to Xbox on August 26th of this year. Which, by the way, Matt, you know what else comes out on August 26th?
There's so much in August. Shortly after, it's Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. And then, let's see.
Specifically the 26th.
The 26th. Let me look. There's so much coming out in August. I'm going to look at my list right now. August 26th is, Gears of War Reloaded. Interesting. That is conflicting.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Yeah. So it sounds like And you can guys go, the community can go look this up, but this was announced just this last week, and it is launching the same day that Gears of War Reloaded is coming to PlayStation. Um, this is
I
an
got my
interesting strategy, man.
I got my head in my hands, shaking my head right now because this isn't the first time Xbox has cannibalized their releases, even if it's second party or third party. They did this with Claire, and they did this with the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remastered Shadow Drop 2 days before Claire Obscure, which they helped publish, they helped fund and publish, and they cannibalize sales on both ends. And I feel really sorry for Elder Scrolls, unfortunately, because Claire was a smash hit. It's probably going to be game of the year, and and you actually were a little late to Claire because of the Elder Scrolls Shadow Drop. And they're doing the same thing. They're releasing Gears of War like they're one of the top 3 first party IPs that we want to PlayStation. We got Forza. We're getting Gears of War. The next one's Halo. It's coming. But this is like their second major IP coming. And it's on the same day that they're bringing all these players to Helldivers. Dude, people only have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of attention, and they're going to pick one or the other. And this might cannibalize sales on both ends because Helldivers is what, $40, Gears is $50, third person co-op, non-fiction or fiction. I always get those two mixed up. Adventure, like they're kind of in the same vein, and they're both shooters. And I think they need to stagger these, and I think they need to push the Helldivers date back.
I don't think so.
I don't think
Like
so.
yeah. So the way I look at this is so first off, and we'll talk about this later. This will be in our main topic, but let's be honest. Xbox has trained its user base not to purchase games. And the reason I say this, and then where I'm going with this is, I played the original Gears of War, and then immediately stopped and did not pick up with 2. A multitude of factors, like other games that came out and stuff like that. But do you know the reason, the biggest reason I didn't play anything beyond the first Gears of War, Matt?
Why? A ton of people played the multiplayer. It was like one of the best multiplayers.
Bingo. Gears of War was sold as a single player or co-op action third person shooter. Most people played the multiplayer aspect because if you haven't played Gears of War, folks, I'm going to give you this for your consideration. It's not a spoiler, but that game can be beaten in like 6 hours. The campaign.
Right, but that's my point. People love multiplayer in Gears of War, and it's an ongoing live like multiplayer online game. What else is that? Helldivers. Like you can't play both games at once. And if you're getting Gears to just play the 6-hour campaign, I totally get it. It's not cannibalizing it. But a lot of people are going to get Gears to play that 6-hour campaign and then dive into the multiplayer with their friends. And that's exactly what Helldivers is too. Online multiplayer co-op experience.
Yeah, so Gears is competitive co-op.
Well, yeah, Horde mode came in 3.
It's 3D. Yes,
yeah, it's PvP. Yeah,
it's PvP. And the last thing, as a guy who's I'm a 40-year-old father of 3, full-time job, loves to play his games when he can, and still podcast, right? The last thing I want to do, I only play one competitive game, but that's not the point. The last thing I want to do is play a PvP game and then go get stacked up against a neckbeard sweat who never leaves his grandma's basement. And I'm being serious on this, to play against him in a lobby because they don't have skill-based matchmaking, and watch him bounce from wall to wall. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to say 2 words. Fuck this. And because Microsoft has trained me not to purchase your software, I'm going to go over to Helldivers, where the community is going to troll you a little bit, but they're there to complete an objective. So they're going to bring you in with open arms, and then I'm going to be, wow, this is really cool. And then I'm going to see 6 banners of war bonds that I can purchase off there. And all of a sudden, you know who's getting those rips? Arrowhead. Microsoft's going to get 30% of it, but Arrowhead's going to get rip after rip after rip. You know what you're not getting rips of? cosmetics in Gears of War. I'm
That's
telling you, I'm telling you, the Gears of this is not going to cannibalize each other from a perspective of, like you said, people only have so much time. And if I get into a PvP, I would never play Warzone right now because everybody that's in a Call of Duty or a Warzone lobby loves that game so much that I have zero interest in spending 15 hours of my life every 2 days to practice so I can get good. Because if I'm going to get good, it's going to be in a Sekiro or a Dark Souls, right?
yeah, yeah. Is Helldivers coming to Game Pass or is it a purchased title? Look that
It's
up because that's my point. Your scenario was purchasing both. What if someone has to choose? And they're huge Gears of War fans. I agree with you. Helldivers is a better multiplayer experience. It's one of the best. And I put way more hours into Helldivers than I did Gears of War, I think combined. I played some PvP stuff, but PvP isn't my thing. And it is team based PvP, so it's somewhat co op online. But Helldivers is co op PvE for sure. And it's a better experience, in my opinion. I just still think they're going to cannibalize each other. And people out there, a lot of people out there are going to have to choose. They're going to be like, well, do I check out this Helldivers game that a lot of my friends are saying that's really super fun? Or do I go back to my beloved franchise because I left Xbox a long time ago, which we're going to be talking about, and finally play Gears of War on my PS5? You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. Oh shit, dude. I heard otherwise. I apologize to the
Ah,
community on this one.
okay.
So, this one's coming from Game Rant, just because this is the one that's easiest to read. Can I aside, can I talk about how these news sites are fucking trash,
I hate them.
with their ads? But,
Shout out to
on
Game Informer because they don't have a lot of
yeah,
ads and they're
they
very
don't.
less ads for sure.
But anyways, unfortunately for Xbox players, Arrowhead community manager Baskinator confirmed on the official Helldivers 2 Discord server that the studio had, quote, no plans to launch Helldivers 2 on Xbox Game Pass. Baskinator replied to a user who claimed Helldivers 2 was coming to the service with, quote, definitely not, no plans to bring it to Game Pass, end quote. That means for those that are on the Xbox, you're going to have to pay $40. I think this is huge, man, because just like I said at the top of the hour, Xbox has trained its people, its users, its hardcore base not to purchase their games.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
which sucks because if this came to Game Pass, there's so many good quality microtransactions within the Helldivers 2 game, they could earn their money back and then some, I believe. Plus, you're looking at how many 2 million players maybe if it was a huge smash that are going to get into Helldivers out of the Xbox base. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just being realistic here.
Sure.
That sucks. But I get it. I
Yeah.
get it
So
because they're not going to make their money.
that was my assumption because if they were open to a subscription model, we would have got it on PS Plus, and we didn't. And I respect that because I don't like the subscription model, and it's good value for other people, but I feel like it breeds predatory uh, experiences and decisions on the developer to really try and extract little amounts from you as you go. Look at Genshin Impact. It's free to play. All these free to play games, they usually come with a caveat, and that's going to be pestering you with little microtransactions every time. And you're probably going to end up paying more for your experience. But yeah, Xbox players, if they are a huge Gears of War fan, they already own Gears of War Ultimate Collection. They're getting Gears of War Reloaded for free, whereas Helldivers is a $40 game. Helldivers is the better experience for sure, but I mean, it doesn't have a campaign, so it really is all up to your taste. If you want a story-based campaign, Gears of War is awesome. It's an awesome story. It just gets better with 2 and 3. 1 kicks it off, but yeah. Xbox players, like you said, Xbox has trained them not to buy their games, and they're going to look at this $40 price tag on Helldivers, which you and I both know is a steal because we put hundreds of hours into it and we had a ton of fun, and it was my multiplayer game of the year. And they're going to say, nah.
That's bummer, man. And you know the ultimate irony out of this, dude. And this is why it's important to trade your users to purchase your products. You know how much Gears of War Reloaded is on PlayStation 5?
$50.
No, it's on Amazon right now, $40 for
Oh,
pre-order.
I think MSRP it's 50, but if Amazon has it for 40, I might be
Yeah.
mistaken. It might be it's 40 or $50. Yeah, it's the same. And they're releasing on the same day. Just stagger them. Just push it
That's
back or push it
wild.
forward like 2 weeks or something. It's yeah, it's Xbox does it all the time. They cannibalize their sales. They're stupid, and we're going to talk about it in depth with our main topic.
Yeah,
So,
we
but
not
yeah,
to beat
dude,
a dead horse.
yeah, but positively, this is awesome that Xbox players are coming to Helldivers. Welcome. If you're on the fence about buying this and you're on Xbox exclusively, go buy it. It's 100% worth the money. The microtransactions are in the background. I didn't feel pestered with them. They're there if you want them, and it's just an amazing co-op experience. We got it on launch. We had a blast. There were so many funny moments, and it's it's amazing. I love Helldivers, and it's Starship Troopers the game. So you should go play it. You should buy it. It's 100% worth it. And welcome to all these Xbox players. Welcome to the fight. Ready to spread some democracy, baby.
For Super Earth.
Exactly. Have some liberty. Yeah. So, and Arrowhead has been pretty good at supporting the game and releasing content. There was the PSN name debacle, but that wasn't on them. That was on PlayStation. And their next game, I think they announced that they're just going multi-platform because PlayStation probably pissed them off with that. And we'll see. I can't wait to see what they do next. And it's amazing news, honestly, that they are sharing the game with everyone. Xbox players and PlayStation players and PC players all unite. Let's take those bugs, bots, and Illuminat down and spread some democracy.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So little rant there, and it's probably gonna lead into the main topic that we're going to talk about as well. More news on my end. So Ghost of Yotei, we're getting a dedicated state of play on actually today, July 11th. Today at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And if you are interested on the fence about Ghost of Yotei, go check it out. They say there's going to be about 20 minutes of gameplay, and I might lightly watch. I kind of want to see the UI and how it runs on a game cycle basis and what they're going to show. But I'll probably check out if I see anything that's like spoilery. I'm debating on watching it because I'm sold. I'm sold specifically on that Ghost of Tsushima was incredible. It was my game of the year, and I can't wait for the sequel. And there's this has already been in the marketing material, but they are alluding to a wolf familiar that you can control. And boy, oh boy, am I excited for that! I love that.
Yeah,
So
no, definitely. I'm glad, excited for you on this one, man. I don't know. Sorry, I'm so scattered brained right now, dude.
you're good. You're good. Did you like Ghost of Tsushima? You were a big fan, right? Did you finish it,
Yeah,
platinum it?
yeah. So Ghost of Tsushima came out the same year as another game that, and I think let's just put it this way: I think Tsushima was my game of the year that year. Absolutely. What made it great is it was a late entry, because it came out around the same time as Yote is going to drop. I remember that, because it was I was there was on this the Last of Us Part 2 thing where I was like, I want to play this, and I just really couldn't get into it, and it wasn't nothing personal, folks. I didn't have anything spoiled. It was just I wasn't in the mood for that game. If you're a mood gamer, you get it. All right. And I was in this weird limbo where I was playing Civilization 6 because suddenly I got the bug to play 4X games, and then Ghost of Yotei hit, and I remember not seeing anything about it. It just kind of I wasn't even paying attention to the news. That's how out of it I was. And then all of a sudden it comes across, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks good." And you know that game, when you see it, you know it has style. Persona 5 was that game, and others where you just see it and you go, "Yep, that's going to be a good time." That was Ghost of Tsushima, and boy, oh boy, I was so right on that one. It was my game of the year, but um, to bring this all to another close, Yote, I'm excited. I think it looks really good. I think on a PS5 Pro with the lighting effects, it's gonna be fucking bomb. But at this point, I don't need to see it. I'm sold. Like you've got my sale. It's a matter of when I get to you, but you have my sale 100%. So I don't need to see gameplay footage. I did the same thing with the game we're going to talk about later. Day one, don't need to see it. I'm good.
Yeah, I have it pre-ordered. I'm right there with you. And talking about the top tier first-party PlayStation developers, Sucker Punch don't miss. They made the infamous series. They made Sly Cooper. They make great titles, and they made the new IP Ghost of Tsushima. It was along with all the new IP from the top first-party devs that we got on PS4, and I couldn't be more excited for this one. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what Sucker Punch is going to do. And I might check it out. I might not. I'm on the fence of checking out the content because I'm 100% sold on the game, like you are. So yeah, if you want to check it out, it's today at 2 p.m. PT, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So YouTube. So Thursday, July 10th, today. So 10th or 11th. Yeah, 10th. I
Yeah,
said
10th.
11th.
Nope, we're
Today,
not.
folks, if you're listening to this on release, Thursday, July 10th. So,
Yeah. Let's see. I think we got one last piece of news here.
all right.
This is a smaller one, at least in my realm. Uh, as it was released, this one coming from Game Informer, our lovely site, came out a couple. Another article that came out right after we recorded. Seems to be last week. This seems to be a trend. BioWare has officially announced that it is planning to sunset online support for Anthem. Um, it will on January 12th, 2026. The sci-fi shooter servers will be shut down, rendering the online only title completely unplayable. Um, it sounds like they're going to go and however this was canceled. It's shifting towards looks like maybe the next Mass Effect is the rumor I'm hearing. Because supposedly that's what they got coming. But yeah, what do you think here, man? I don't know. Did you play Anthem at all? I don't remember.
I played the shit out of Anthem. I have the platinum, and I'm one of the very few that do because that platinum is an RNG nightmare. I loved Anthem. I didn't love it for what they promised it would be. I played the campaign. Usually when you were out in the world in your mech suits, I played Storm, the Storm class, so the magic user. I thought it had incredible gameplay, really cool Iron Man flight sim, really cool flight controls. Loved the story. When you were first person, not in your suit, it wasn't that fun, and the writing wasn't great. But I loved the premise. The gameplay was fun. I put 60 hours into it. I beat it. I put it down, and then when they announced this a long time ago that Anthem was probably going to get shut down, I was like, I gotta get that platinum now because you'll never be able to get it. And I just had some RNG stuff that took a lot more hours to get. But yeah, I really liked Anthem, and they promised it to be this whole game as a service, ongoing story, kind of like Destiny. Everyone was called the Destiny killer, but hey, you know what? Both can coexist at the same time. Nothing has to be killed. And clearly, Anthem got killed here. But I played it, loved it. And after 60 hours, I put it down and said, hey, that's a great game. I hate that it was always online. I hate that you won't be able to play it again because, I mean, it was super fun to play. Really cool co op gameplay. And I'm very sad that you won't be able to play it anymore. So that really sucks. Yeah, I'm an Anthem fan.
I didn't know that. Today I learned.
Yep.
This Anthem was one of those games, and I'm sorry, because Anthem was one of those games that I thought always was I heard about, but I never got a chance to play. I'm definitely not now because I'm not going to have an incomplete trophy list in that regard, or at least I'm not going to willingly do that to myself. Unknowingly is one thing. You know what I think you should do, Matt?
What?
You can go see compilation videos of when games get shut down. I think you
Yeah.
should log in and go be
Mm.
there during the system shutdown. You can see compilation. I don't know if you've ever seen them on YouTube for like certain servers for games
Oh yeah.
uh, that got shut down, and you see the community there. And is it one of those like? Is it the end of the world? No, not really. But it's a really cool moment to see the end of something. And kind of, I bet you there'd be some good community, like I don't know, events, self-driven, of course, for that. But yeah, man, that sucks. And as a side to this, I don't know if you heard, because of the single player component going bye bye on this. This is this plus another event which I refuse to go into right now because I do not want to diverge this show, as part of that Keep Games Alive initiative that's been going around. Um, I'm not opening that bag of worms on this show. We've only got so much time, but
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, that sucks, man.
I was planning on jumping back in for a little bit. Maybe not, closing down the server with everyone else, because I have seen the Halo 2 videos and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because they can't shut down the server unless the last person leaves, right?
Oh,
So,
you can.
I mean, you can, but and I guess because Halo 2, the server lasted as long as the last person was in there, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. It was something I remember that, because
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look at it, but you're right. They just didn't shut it down until somebody. I guess they were playing the waiting game and being patient. Um, and what I mean by that,
maybe.
folks, is these servers are nothing but virtual machines. You could just literally power the fucking thing off. Is the
Right.
equivalent of unplugging the power, but it's really cool. I wonder if they'll do that.
Right. Well, it might have been because it was peer to peer hosted and you host your own server. And that's why, because there's server side
True.
hosted lobbies and then there's peer to peer hosted lobbies. And that might be why. But yeah, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to fly around for a bit. The last time I can, I'll probably stream it. Maybe be on mic. We'll have like a little Anthem going away party. I might do it for an hour or two. I don't, there's so many games to play, but I am going to give a swan song to Anthem and shout out. They tried. BioWare tried. And I liked the game. I think they succeeded in what they made, but they had too much of a focus on the ongoing and games as a service. And they didn't really make what they were selling, but they made a solid 60-hour uh, multiplayer co-op adventure, honestly, in my opinion. So rip Anthem, end of year. So
R.I.P. in peace.
yep. Uh yeah. So a little bit of negative news, and that's okay. The gaming industry is a little shaken up right now, and mainly because of our main topic, honestly, and Xbox. So we've seen a lot of shakeups in the industry, especially the 9,000 fucking layoffs that we just saw from Xbox, shutting down studios, shutting down games. And I thought it would be a good time and a good topic to maybe reflect on where the fuck they went wrong and why are they here now, and maybe a little bit of the state of the gaming industry, because PlayStation is doing better, but they're hurting a little bit too. But dude, Xbox. So that's the main topic. Where the fuck Xbox went wrong. We're not industry analysts, we're not industry experts, but I can tell you that I was on the Xbox 360 primarily. It was my primary game system. I'm a huge PlayStation fan, always have been. But I ran into an unfortunate circumstance in 2010 ish, I think, or 2008. I don't know, sometime in there, where my PlayStation original launch 80 gig backwards compatible console got stolen from my house. Someone broke in and stole that, my iMac, my GameCube, all my game systems, along with my. And I didn't have an Xbox, so I only had the PlayStation. And they stole my Wii and all kinds of high ticket items. Anyway, I don't know how it happened, why it happened, but they kicked in my door and stole everything. I wasn't there, thankfully. I was gone, so there was inside information, I think, of when I would be there and when I wouldn't be. No one got hurt, but all my shit got stolen. And the launch of shortly after the PlayStation 3 launched, it wasn't great for PlayStation. And they were hurting. This was around the time the big PSN outage. They didn't have a lot of first party titles, and the 360. All my friends had a 360, and I said, you know what? And there were achievements too, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to check out this 360. So I got an Xbox 360, and I was a primary 360 player for a few years, and I had the PS3 Slim eventually, and that's why I eventually left Xbox, because the PS3 was technologically superior. I put Final Fantasy 13. I bought both copies because I'm insane like that, and I compared them. And dude, the PS3 just ran the games way better. They looked way better. They ran way better. But it was all about the community and gaming online. And I played Halo, Gears of War, everything. And I was big into the 360. I was a 360 gamer for a while, and I was very excited for what Xbox had in store for the next generation. And what do we get, Bob? What do we get in 2013, which I think is when Xbox died? What do we get?
Oh, you're talking about the Xbox One.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. I was an Xbox fan. I was ready to support, and dude, the 360 was amazing. It was a gamer first console. Xbox Live was ahead of the game. The achievements were ahead of the game, and it was awesome. It didn't run games as well as PS3, the third party stuff, but I had a blast. I got to like 50,000 gamer score. I played a lot on it. I was excited for the next generation, and they basically were like, here's the Xbox One. It's all about sports, TV, and no video. Call of Duty, and no video games were mentioned whatsoever. They were like, and here's Halo, the TV show. And
how'd that work
it's
out?
yeah, it's crazy looking back, because they announced a game console as a like they said, water cooler that everyone can talk about, and nothing was shown game wise. And they
Mhm.
imposed a ton of restrictions on it. It had to check in every 24 hours to license the content. You couldn't share your games, which bred one of the most brilliant 23-second marketing uh, pieces of marketing material ever from PlayStation, by the way. Uh, you couldn't trade in your games. Everything was locked to your profile, and they backpedaled all that, by the way. And it just they kind of the day after, literally the day after, I was like, well, the PS3 is more technologically advanced, and I have all these 360 titles. I went to GameStop. I traded in all my third-party 360 titles for all third-party PS3 titles. And I think it was shortly after PlayStation came out. They announced the PS4. They announced they weren't imposing restrictions on checking in or anything like that. They announced you can just trade your physical games. Xbox said you can't trade physical games with your peer. It's locked to your account. And not only that, it has to check in every 24 hours. And dude, what a misstep from Don Matrick. He was the head of Xbox at the time. He's not anymore. And we can see why. But someone, I think it was a reporter, said, hey, like, what about military guys overseas if they want an Xbox One without an internet connection? And Matrick was like all smug, and he's like, well, there's a console, fortunately for them, and that's called the Xbox 360. And I was like, what a fucking douche. And all these people came up with suits, and you could just see it was about greed and chasing the next big thing, and they didn't give a fuck about gamers. And then who was it ahead of Xbox at the time, or ahead of PlayStation at the time? His name is slipping me, but he came out and he was like, "We're here for gamers," and they showed games. They showed a ton of awesome PS4 titles, and they were focused on the gamers, and they were leaning into the fact that we're making a console for gamers, and we're not imposing restrictions like Xbox is. So that was the beginning of it. What did you watch that? Jack Trenton. Jack Trenton.
Yep, Jack Trenton. That's what I was looking for right now.
He came out and dropped the fucking mic, man. You should have, if you're ever curious to see when Xbox died, it was at that PlayStation conference. It was at that PlayStation E3 conference, and you can hear the crowd go wild. This is the same crowd. E3, you went to all the conferences, all three major ones, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, all the major players, and you could hear Xbox die in that crowd because they literally were targeting what Xbox has said like a couple days before, and they put it in their keynote to basically counteract the terrible, terrible anti-consumer practices that Xbox announced. They were like, and we won't be imposing any restrictions. You don't have to check in. The crowd goes, ah! That's when Xbox died. Did you watch both those events? I watched them live. Well, not there, but I watched them live digitally.
Oh yeah. Not live in person. Trust me, I never got to, and that's rest in peace to E3. I watched them, and I'm going to be honest because I remember Microsoft was one of the first ones, if not, it was like the second person or presentation for the event, and I was excited. It was E3. I was ready to watch it, and it kind of just fell flat. I was like, wait, what are you selling? Are you selling a game console? Because I'm having a hard time understanding what you're selling me here. I and that note aside, I did buy an Xbox One. It did not live long in this house. I'll leave it like that. But yeah, I watched it. It's interesting. You think that's the moment Xbox kind of started hitting the down trail and died?
Oh yeah, that was when it started for sure. And yeah, I bought an Xbox One as well, and it lasted I think 3 weeks. The release titles on it were like Rise, Son of Rome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Titanfall was a release title, or a launch window title, but the release titles for the PS4, there was a free one that blew me away, Resogun, from Housemarque, who makes Returnal now, and they make Nex Machina, they make Matterfall, incredible developer that PlayStation actually bought because they loved them so much, and now they're a first-party developer making Saros. What?
Oh yeah, sorry. You're right. I do remember
Mm-hmm.
the Sony presentation because there was a game
Mm-hmm.
announced that year. Because I watched it with my wife, and the second I saw it, my jaw dropped, and I felt a little funny in my loins, if you know what I mean.
What was it?
Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was officially announced at the E3 2013. We
Mm-hmm.
got it came much later. I get that, but when
Right.
I first saw that cinema compose that, like as soon as I saw 615, everything that happened with Microsoft kind of went out the window. The bad feelings and energies because I was like, oh my god, we're finally getting a fucking Final Fantasy for mainline, and it's not MMO, and I that's a different diatribe. But yes, I remember now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, my so PS4 was $100 announced to be $100 cheaper out the gate.
$100 less because they bundled the Connect in with Xbox One, which is where I want to go next to the slow downfall. But yeah, launch window exclusives for the PS4, Infamous Second Son, Sucker Punch. They came out the gate. Second Son is one of my favorite games on the PS4. It's incredible. I love it. Killzone Shadowfall, Knack. As much as flack as people want to give Knack, yeah, I just rhymed. Didn't mean to though. It is a great game. I loved it. It's technologically advanced and very impressive. There were a lot of particle effects and a lot of stuff going on. I loved Knack, and I tried platinuming it, but there's some trophies that are nuts on that. But
Fuck
those
that.
were
No, I can't do
yeah,
that.
right. And then let's see, Supermassive. We got Transistor. That wasn't a launch exclusive though, or a exclusive title. But yeah, PS4. They just showed games. Crazy, right? You show games at your game presentation and unveiling of your next generation console at E3, Electronic Entertainment Expo, for games. And yeah, Xbox fumbled the ball. They didn't show any games. They just announced a bunch of shit, and they thought they were on top of it. And it's the third console curse. PlayStation had it with they ended well on the PS3, but out the gate, they didn't do very well, and that console had a rough lifetime. But yeah, it's the third console curse. So yeah, PS4 came in what, $399, and the Xbox One was $499. And what do we get next year at E3? We got a fucking Connect presentation bullshit with little kids on stage flying around collecting the coins. And I'm like, dude, where's Halo? Where's Gears of War? Like, why are you leaning into the Connect so much? And we saw how well the Connect did. It died, just like Xbox started to, when they were anti-consumer, anti-gamer, and didn't really focus on the roots and what made them. I feel like Nintendo kind of did the same thing with the Wii. They started branching out. The Wii is a successful console. Let's get that straight. But they branched out and they said, we want to get as many people in the platform as possible. And they stopped kind of focusing on the games and the gamers that made them who they are. And Xbox started chasing that as well. Um, do you remember the E3 conferences where they had little kids come out and collect all the coins and all the Connect bullshit, and they were having technical difficulties on it too? It's just a shit show.
No, I missed that one that year. Unfortunately, I wish I could tell you why. I mean, be perfectly honest, I was probably drunk at the time.
Yeah. Well, no, I would have E3 parties. I would be super excited, just like I do with Summer Game Fest. E3 was like the celebration of all the games. This was before we even had the Game Awards, before we had Summer Game Fest. This was E3.
I
And you
think I
remember that.
Yeah, I think I know what the issue was. E3 kind of lost its touch early on, but there's another event that usually happens in June that massively gets my attention, and it fights for like a lot of these events, like Summer Game Fest. Um, Hate to be that nerdy guy, but that's because it's the usually that's right around the summer kickoff. There's usually a tournament. In fact, we just finished one right now for League of Legends, and it's esports events. I still don't know why to this world day I watch that shit, but that's probably why, because there was a tournament, MSI, or it was a finals for a region or something silly. It was probably the reason I was distracted.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would have E3 parties. I ran a podcast like 7 years ago, and we did E3 coverage. I think the last podcast we did was the E3 of that year. I think E3 2018. But I was big into E3. I loved all the conferences. There were some just train wrecks. Konami had a conference one year that was just, it was entertaining to watch because it was falling apart. Like before your eyes. It was nuts. If you ever want to entertain with E3 stuff, look up E3 fails over the years. Caffeine Man from Ubisoft, dude. There were some
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
cringe worthy moments, but there were also some gems in there. We got the announcement of Twilight Princess. We got the announcement of basically all the games we've come to know and love in the last 3 decades, right? E3 was like around in the 90s, and they recently went away. Rip E3. But yeah, Xbox didn't do great at E3. Their Xbox One console didn't sell well. And then Don Matrick got kicked out. Phil Spencer came in. I met Phil Spencer. He's a good dude. But here's where I know something's fucked up, because I met him in the Game Awards lobby, which, by the way, this year, Game Awards, we're gonna be there, and in the lobby, you basically just run into people. I ran into Sean Layden, ran into Phil Spencer at the after party. I ran into Troy Baker, and you just go up and you say hi. And you thank him. I'm like, hey man, dude, you're an amazing voice actor. Thank you. He cheers me, and then I went along my merry way. Ran into Greg Miller. He's one of my inspirations for running a podcast. Colin Moriarty is my favorite, and him and Greg Miller started kind of funny along with 2 others. But yeah, I was inspired by both of those people, and I met them at the Game Awards in 2015, 2016. But anyway, I met Phil Spencer, and I said, I was like, hey, thanks for everything you do. I have a quick question for you if you don't mind. And they want to talk. They're like just hanging out in the lobby. And I was like, what's your favorite console? And he looks at me and he knows. He's like, oh, but he gave me a truthful answer. And this is why I respect the hell out of Phil Spencer, because he said, and I quote, I remember it, it's burned into my brain. You know, I just wish PlayStation 4 had better and more and better exclusives.
Oh,
Because this was when PS4 wasn't like the new IPs weren't coming out.
yep.
It was either 2015 or 2016. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, are you an Xbox fan? And I'm like, I used to be. And he was like, we lost you on the Xbox One, didn't we? And I was like, you sure did. And he's like, he takes his drink. He takes a drink of his drink. He's like, yeah, man, we lost a lot of people then.
Uh-huh.
So I got firsthand experience of Phil Spencer. He's a cool dude. He's a gamer. We talked a little bit about games. I didn't want to take too much of his time, uh, but he is actually a gamer. He does care. I think the uh, conversations and the decisions from Xbox now aren't him. I think it's higher up, and I think it's because Xbox has been literally hemorrhaging money and buying all these things and losing a ton. And I think Satya has stepped in, and he's a big promoter of multi-platform, put everything everywhere. And I think that's what's happening now. I think Phil Spencer's stepping down soon. Some of the decisions were on his end. I'm not an expert in the industry. I'm just speaking from what I've seen through the years. I've been ingrained in the news and everything. So yeah, I talked to him, and that's what he said. He said, "I just wish PlayStation 4 had more exclusives." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow."
Man, dude, it's funny you say that. I have a completely different thought process. It's not one. This is once again. This is my what twas the tism, my lord, because I look at things way too deep. Um, so that was I look at the E3 2013 and the Xbox One fiasco as the finally showing the symptoms of what I felt was going to happen with Xbox all the way back to the very beginning.
Mm,
Um, to put this most succinctly, I think Xbox, unfortunately, as a brand, had a cancer, and it always has had a cancer, and they have not been able to shake it. It was a matter of time until it blew up on them, um, and that's Big Mama. And I could go on, guys. I work in the IT industry, and that's Big Mama Microsoft. Okay.
yeah.
Um, they've been living under that foot. I think about it this way, Matt. Okay, I mean, Xbox and Phil Spencer, what they're trying to do makes a lot of sense, but I think they're getting held back by a lot of the parent company. Um, and I'll come more into this, but um, so I'll take you back as a young teenage Bob. I was on my PC, my Windows PC, mind you, playing this amazing game that's in my top 10 list we talked about last week called Half Life. Um, and produced by an amazing company that went on by Valve to make that was at the time, I mean, they were successful, but this was their glow up moment, right? Um, as part of this, they were looking at a way when they were launching later on with the online services of games like Counter Strike that were coming out. They needed to figure out a way to unify that, so that they as in Gabe and his team identified problems with online services at the time. Um, such as unification of keeping games up to date, built-in anti-cheat to prevent people from hacking their game and trying to offload that. They were trying to find ways to unify this and make it easier for the end user, because unless you were very PC savvy, you were kind of in the dark and you were at the mercy of a very still booting or brooding and budding Google. Uh, and they went to a company. They went to Microsoft and they said, "Hey, we know you have the server infrastructure. We know you're a tech giant. You're in the lead in the industry. Here's this idea we have. We would like some funding from you, and you'll get a cut from everything. And here's what we want to do." Microsoft said, "Nope, because we have Xbox Live coming, They didn't tell them this, but they had Xbox Live coming with Xbox, because if you remember, Xbox had an Ethernet jack, right?
Hmm.
The OG, back in 2001, which is wild. Considered broadband internet was not popular or was not widely
Yeah.
used. Um, Matt, they said, "Oh, that's fine," and walked away and went and made the platform we know in today as Steam.
Hmm.
The platform that holds 90%, estimated of 90% PC game sales are, through the Steam platform. Keep
You
in
know
mind,
another.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You know another way they fucked up. You know who else came to them? Marvel for Spider Man,
Mhm. Uh-huh.
and they said, "Nah, we're good." So they Marvel went to PlayStation instead, and look at what we have now.
Yep. To you're exactly right. This is more of of that cancer that I'm talking about. And the the biggest irony is, and I'll get this to the end, is because I'm doing a historical perspective here. Is at the end, the Xbox Store is going to have links to Steam anyways, because
Mhm.
you can still play your games anywhere. That's the ultimate irony. Okay.
Yep.
Um, but I think that's been a cancer for for the problem, despite their successes. I want to point this out. I owned an
Oh.
original Xbox. I was an Xbox 360 guy, um, mostly because my PlayStation 3, that was more expensive, literally died on me. The Blu-ray because Sony and their engineers screwed up with their software-based disc ejection systems on the Blu-ray. It blew up my Blu-ray system. And I was in Germany, so I was not going to get it repaired. And I said, well, fuck it. I at least got to play the one game I wanted, on the PlayStation 3, Sons of the Patriots. 10 out of 10. Go
Oh.
check play it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I said, screw it. I'm going to be an Xbox 360 guy. And guess what? I played Halo, all the Halos on there. I played ODST, all of the greats. That was my boot. That was my machine where I really dove into the Halo series, as well as a few other good stuff that was in there. The original Fable. You've got Oblivion that was on there. You have the Fallout 3. You have these games that were phenomenal games that were on this platform.
Mhm.
And despite all of those successes, Microsoft still or Xbox still screws up and still manages to come out on top in this generation because of the competition. Uh, we all know, if you've been gaming for a long time, you've heard about the Xbox Red Ring of Death, the 360 Red Ring of Death, right? PlayStation had something similar.
Mhm.
Nintendo had something similar. They had on the Wii. They had the blue light of death.
Mhm.
Um, Not as well known because it's been estimated over 52% of Xbox 360s dealt with the red ring of death. Um, what makes this even worse, and this is why it's the cancer of Microsoft that in my opinion, that haunts the Xbox brand to this day, is when it was identified, they said, "Fuck it, we push through anyways."
Mhm.
And shipped out the consoles and rolled the dice on it. Um,
Right.
that's wild, dude. And I
Yeah.
think that's when we came to the fruition of 2013, when you saw the Xbox identity brand shift, as, all right, well, now we can make it a home entertainment system because we're going to integrate it, and I think that was the start of them trying to integrate into becoming more of a unified platform, because Microsoft is not they don't sell service products, they sell services. They have Windows, but it's a service now. Microsoft 365 and all their other stuff is a service that they sell to you. Satya is onto something. I get it. It's going to give them profits, but from a gaming perspective, it's not conducive with the market. And we're seeing that with Game Pass being. I'm hearing conflicting reports whether it's profitable or not, but I'm pretty sure it's flat. That's why they're not telling us the numbers. It's leveled out. That's why Helldivers 2 is not coming to Game Pass, because Arrowhead would rather get 30,000 sales on the Xbox than deal with the Game Pass money and the support. Um, and it's a bummer, man. I feel bad. I miss a lot. I miss a lot of those games. I just looked when you mentioned it. I have a 66,000 gamer score.
Yeah, that's solid.
Played a lot of fucking games on the Xbox within the Xbox ecosystem.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but unfortunately, that I think that what I'm trying to drive home is, despite all of their successes, I think Xbox has always had this mommy on their back of Microsoft, because they're the ones paying the bills. They're the ones who forked out the fucking whatever 700 quadrillion billion fulfillion jajillion dollars for the, yeah, for the Activision Blizzard
I
deal.
think it was 70 billion.
Yeah. I don't remember, so I was being dramatic. But
Hmm.
Microsoft's someone who footed that. You're right. Phil Spencer's a gamer. He knows this stuff. I If Xbox could just get away from the daddy that is Microsoft paying the bills, I think Phil Spencer could finally be able to take that team and do something. If he had final say on a lot of that. I know there's speculation he got to play free for a while, but I truly think he's got a good heart at this, and he could have done it. And that sucks, man. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Microsoft or Xbox has the cancer of Microsoft, and unfortunately, I think they're going to go the way of Sega. Just give them another generation, and they're going to give you the frog and boiling water, of where they're going to slowly raise the temperature, and then you're going to turn around and not realize it's already too late.
Oh yeah. Uh, I do think Xbox was successful at one point. They hit their stride with 360. Xbox Live was ahead of its time. Achievements were ahead of its time, and PlayStation copied off of them. But I just feel like they made some missteps for sure, and I think 2013 was one of their biggest missteps. And let's talk about Game Pass, right? They started pushing Game Pass after that, and it's more like quantity over quality. They just want to give you as much stuff as you can, or as they can, and make it cheap and accessible. Uh, there's value in that for sure. But look at the other side and look at PlayStation. They meticulously craft their titles, and they incubate their developers, and they take care of them. And they don't usually buy studios off a whim. Look what I mean they did with Bungie, and look how that's happening. Look what it's doing now. But Microsoft had Game Pass, and they just tried to go out and buy success because they were hurting, and they gobbled up all these developers. They two of the big ones were Bethesda, ZeniMax, and Activision. Like they just bought them, but then they came to realize, oh, we bought the company and the name and the IPs. And after the retention is over, we can't buy the people because that's slavery, and the people can leave. The people can leave, and that's what we saw. The big names from these developers, they just kind of left because they were like, we don't want daddy Microsoft looking over us and telling us what to do. Where PlayStation, go ahead.
Oh no, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
This goes back to what I'm saying about to the original beginning
Right.
of Microsoft, because who did Microsoft buy in the very beginning?
Who?
Bungie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Xbox. They
Wait.
bought Bungie.
Yeah. Xbox. Yeah. Xbox bought
Yeah,
them.
they
Yeah.
bought Bungie, and as the famous story goes, when they bought Bungie, Bungie resisted and said, "We do not want to be owned by a bunch of corporate types." So, with their studio that co-located within Microsoft's headquarters was walled off. Like literally, they put up partitioning walls because
Hmm.
that's how much they didn't want to be part of that corporate world. So,
Hmm.
and now look at where Bungie's at, right? But
Yeah.
you're right. This goes back even further.
Oh yeah. No, I think they were successful at 360. I think they had something going there, and then they misstepped heavily in 2013 and leaned into the Xbox One and the Kinect and the motion controls. They were chasing, I think, what the Wii had, but they without the waggling sticks, right? Uh, and I feel like they put profits over people, whereas PlayStation really takes care of their developers. You can hear it in the developers' voices. You can in the if you ever curious, look at like some behind the scenes stuff. I know the camera's on them, right? They're going to act like they know they're being recorded, but you can kind of hear it in developers from PlayStation that PlayStation really takes care of their studios, and most importantly, they give them complete creative freedom. of on what to do. And that's how we get games like The Last of Us. Like, dude, do you think PlayStation, the best course of action financially was hey, Naughty Dog, I know you just made Uncharted 1 through 3 and it's a smash hit. Uh and Naughty Dog's, yeah, but we have this really special project that we think is going to be awesome. And it's a new IP. Take a gamble on us. Do you think PlayStation they were like, oh yeah, that's the best financial decision? Or were they like, no, make us a new Uncharted? No, PlayStation believed in their developers and they said, you know what? If you think it's good, we believe you and you have complete financial and creative freedom on this and we're going to back you 100%. Look at what Gorilla did. Gorilla was making Killzone and they were like, "Hey, we kind of want to change it up and make this game Horizon, third person action adventure, kind of RPG elements, complete far cry from Killzone." What PlayStation do? You do it. You go at it. It's all you. Uh, they give their studios and their developers financial freedom because they trust them and they take care of them and they back projects. Uh, and they've kind of lost their way too a little bit. They started focusing on the games as a service initiative. Fuck, they had their best remake studio that made us incredible titles like Demon Souls Remake, which was a launch title on PS5, which is one of the best, and uh, Shadow of the Colossus remake, which was incredible. And they were like, "Hey, we want you to make a God of War live service multiplayer game." I bet Bluepoint was like, "What the fuck? No, we want to make Legend of Dragoon remake, please." And so PlayStation, I don't know, man. I think they started seeing what Microsoft was doing, but they didn't see results, and that's why they bought Bungie under Xbox. They're like, well, if you're going to buy all of these, we're going to buy Bungie from you. And that's kind of biting them in the ass because they were following what Microsoft was doing. They started the PS Plus stuff because Microsoft did Game Pass and they started PS Plus and they're offering stuff on PS Plus. But I feel like Microsoft had profits over people, and we've heard some exit interviews like, "Yeah, no, Microsoft didn't treat us well." And I don't know from firsthand experience. I'm not a dev. I'm not a dev of a studio owned by Microsoft, but you can see like the little cracks are coming out now, right? Developers are being canned and rolled off the Microsoft first party train, and IPs like big ones, Perfect Dark is being canceled. Games are coming out that are terrible, like Arcane, the Redfall.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Redfall.
Arcane,
You said Arcane. I went to the TV
right?
show.
No, yeah. Arcane Austin, I believe it was, but I know Arcane was behind bangers like Dishonored, and
Uh-huh.
they. I think that's when they were, had a better development environment, and then they were like, "Oh no, make Redfall." Redfall was bad, dude, real bad, and Xbox pushed that, and now it's dead. It's gone. No one's on that game. And if you are, then cool. If you're enjoying it, whatever. But I heard it's empty. I don't know firsthand experience, right? I've seen it played. I watched it played. I wasn't gonna buy it. Uh, but yeah, we're seeing games like Fable. How long's it taken to make fucking Fable, man?
Oh, absolutely. That pisses me off.
Yeah. Look at Halo, their biggest IP. They took it from Bungie. They gave it to 343. They renamed the studio now because of the shit show Infinite was, and Infinite didn't even release with like some of the multiplayer stuff, and it was kind of half baked. I haven't played it. I heard Infinite has a pretty good campaign, but they've just been misstepping with core IPs left and right, and they're just focused. Now they're focused on Call of Duty. They closed their Summer Game Fest showcase that was a banger last year. They closed it with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Okay,
Mhm.
it's a cool game and all, but you don't close a showcase with Call of Duty unless you're really trying to push it And they own the IP now, and but man, and if you do close it, tell us straight up it's Call of Duty. Don't give us this awesome fucking CG pre-rendered trailer of something that looks straight out of Quantum Break, Alan Wake, and just sci-fi incredible, and then throw up the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 logo, the splash screen. Come on. And yeah, we didn't even see Fable. We haven't seen a Gears of War. Forza Horizon is all right, but I want Xbox to succeed. And you know why? Competition is good for the consumer. If Xbox goes the way Sega went, and it's going to happen, they're going to go as a third party developer for other platforms. You're already seeing it. We're seeing Gears of War in August on the PlayStation, and it's going to come to Switch 2. Their games are going to come to Switch 2. We're going to see Halo. It's already happening slowly. Started with Hi-Fi Rush. Dude, okay, look at Hi-Fi Rush. It was a commercial success. And what they do to the studio, Tango Gameworks, they fucking got rid of them. They spun them off when they had probably one of the best games of the year I've heard, and I bought it on PlayStation, and I really want to play it. Hi-Fi Rush. What are they doing? I don't know, man. I'm not an expert, but all I can say is it's bad news left and right from Xbox, and PlayStation is starting to get their footing, but they kind of went on that train too, and they're with Concord and everything, but they're like, maybe this isn't the way to go. And they've canceled a lot of live service projects, and now they're back on track, focusing on what they do best.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that to lean off of that point, is PlayStation has made its stumbles this generation. We Let me back up. The one thing you need is a good selling game that's going to, if you're keeping this in a profits corporate realm, right? I could go on about how Xbox and PlayStation, being subchildren of their appropriate companies, Sony and Microsoft, respectively, should be seen and funneled by the parent companies, but they should be kind of like a black hole. They need to be the whatever it is, right? I'm not saying unanswerable, right? If you're hemorrhaging money, then that's a look at leadership. But they should be, we're going to stay out of this unless we have to step in, do what you got to do, right? But what Microsoft has is they have, I mean, let's be honest, they have one of the biggest console games, should I say, that's going to be here for a while, that annually comes back to back every year, right? Sony, they have, or PlayStation, they have MLB The Show, they have the baseball stuff, right? EA, they have Madden, right? Microsoft or Xbox said we need something. And that makes sense because you need a cornerstone, because then that helps generate revenue every year that you can count on, that you can give to teams to go make the cool shit that you and I play, right?
Yeah,
you're going to say something?
But they went and bought it instead of bred it internally. That's where you're getting, yeah.
Well, see, I don't think it's necessarily that they didn't breed it. Most notoriously, can you imagine? You talk to a dev. I've heard, haven't had a chance, and if I ever get a chance to talk to a game dev, and you're out there and you're listening, I'd love to be able to interview you about this lifestyle. Would totally keep anonymous, or if you need to, or whatever. But you think about the churn, and you work at EA and be a developer for Madden. You have 1 year cycles to pump out a game that includes updating rosters and all this other stuff, and being in a creative field. You would burn out real fast, right? So in that sense, that is part of that. What Xbox needed was that breadwinner, and they had it. The problem is they did what we call in the poker. They did a faux pas in the gambling. They looked at it and said, "Oh, hey, that's what we need," and tried to buy the pot, so to speak. And they bet the fucking farm on that purchase. I think they could have gone for something smaller. There could have been options for them to get that, and then that generates the revenue that keeps you going. And then all of a sudden, now you start looking at, okay, hey, what is this studio working on? Cool, let's go. You know what? Halo Studios isn't now, whatever 343 is. All right, what do you got for us? Cool. All right, That's awesome. If they'd spent a fraction of that amount of money, they would have a lot more playroom. But they got the attention of Big Daddy because they, guess what? They spent way too much. They went all in on this. They literally went all in. And they being my Xbox went all in on that purchase. So now, and we don't know what the profitability is, right?
Mhm.
But you went so much, you got the attention, and you spent so much. You're in the hole on there to try to earn that back, and that's why we're seeing these studios do this. I'm really sad because I don't like to see anybody lose their job. Um, but at the end of the day, corporate life is corporate life, and I think Xbox took it a little bit too far. And what I mean by that corporate life, anybody that's been in there knows what I mean. Is we're a family, but you better make sure you're hitting certain metrics, you're hitting certain utilization, you're making this because we live in a world where, and this is my diatribe, where short-term profits will be better than long-term gains. So I would rather push through and make a quarterly profit that looks better because my investors need to see it versus, hey, investors, you're going to earn money in the long run. That's my diatribe. But the point is, unfortunately, it doesn't work in the creative fields and you're seeing the burnout. And the only thing I can hope is on the other side, we get some really cool studios, passionate studios like John Romero's studio, who's confirmed they haven't shut down yet, even though the funding's been cut off. Because guess what? He's a name in the industry. Somebody's going to snag him up. Hey, Sony, go knocking. He's working on an FPS. We're talking about a guy who generated Doom: The Dark Ages. Um,
Mhm.
well, he generated Doom. Dark Ages just hit, and guess what? 25, 30 years later, it still fucking slaps.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
but yeah, we'll see. I think we're gonna get some good smaller studios, and that's what we need. We need smaller, more
Mhm.
agile, nimble, creative studios who look at things and go, "Man, this GoldenEye game's really cool. You know what'd be really cool? Let's throw a multiplayer in real quick, and then boom, you've got the one of the best selling fucking N64 games of all time."
Oh yeah. Yeah, and PlayStation, Xbox, Microsoft, Nintendo, these are all corporations. These are all businesses. The goal is to make money, but you do have to balance people. And people make your company. And to put it quite simply, you take care of your people will take care of you. And it feels like Microsoft and Xbox aren't really taking care of their people. Like I read something that Jason Schreier, he's an awesome journalist, said and reported that some of these people that were laid off, they weren't even notified. And it's funny because they said their Slack access got revoked, and that's how they found out that they were basically laid off. Why aren't they using Teams? It's a Microsoft ran backed company. Why are you using Slack? I use Slack. I love it. But it sounds like it was just chaos with the layoffs. And, you know, there are people behind these games. Every game you play, every piece of art you see in the game is made by a person. For now, right? AI is coming. Don't worry. But there are people with lives and families, and these this is their job, and they have livelihoods, and like 9,000 people up and losing their jobs, especially in this economy, if they have families and stuff. Like, I feel like profits are being put over people. Yes, you have to chase profits as a company, but you can't do this to people. And think about, like, just if 50% of a team was laid off, right? Think about the people behind, what they're thinking and what kind of artistic output we're going to see from them. They're probably terrified of losing their job. And we can see that with the games being released. We don't see the passion and the art uh, behind a lot of Microsoft games anymore. It's kind of just like churned out, and I feel like people aren't being put first. And I think from the output of PlayStation, we see in the projects that PlayStation really cares about the people. They are a business. They look for profits, but I feel like the people are being more taken care of. And they even said, they're like, we're not going to go out and buy a bunch of studios. Nintendo said the same thing, even though they bought Bungie, but that was a one-off thing. They said, we want to work with the studios. We want to work with the developers. We want to see what they can do. We want to see if they're a good fit. And dude, they worked with Insomniac for probably like 10 years before they bought them. And I mean, they bought them for like, I don't know. It was way less than they bought for Activision. I think 3 million or something. But they said, we want to build a relationship and then we're going to buy them, because I feel like they do care about the people. They care about the artists behind these games, and they know the golden rule. You take care of your people, you're going to get a incredible artistic product. So
Yeah, no, you're right. I think the best way I always describe it is I think about the Toys for Bob incident.
mm-hmm.
Toys for people who don't know what I'm referring to, Toys for Bob were the makers of the Skylander series, which I loved. By the
Oh
way,
yeah.
long story short, when the funding kind of started to drip out because it got so big and it oversaturated the market, instead of being allowed to create new stuff, they were put on the Skylanders train so much that it imploded the company. And
Mm-hmm.
when Toys for Bob was ultimately bought by EA and Blizzard and got swept up in there, that studio went away. And it sucks. I'll let you guys go do your own research on the community. For example, like Did You Know Gaming put out a video on them. There are some others out there on the interwebs. It's fucking heartbreaking, Matt, to
Mm-hmm.
hear some of those stories
Yeah.
and
Go
tragedies.
do
But
go do your research. Listen to these developers. Listen to their story. Listen to, if they want to talk about how they were treated, listen to them. These are people behind games. And yeah, I feel like PlayStation might be taking care of their developers or second party studios.
Mhm.
And yeah, we can rant about Xbox all day. We can rant about the game industry all day. It's not in a great position, but hopefully it turns around. Most importantly, we want to hear what you think about the Xbox. What are your thoughts on Xbox's standpoint here, and or the gaming industry in general? What are your thoughts? Tell us on Discord. We want to hear from you. But speaking of taking care of your people and the art that comes from that, and an amazing second party developer that actually came to PlayStation and they said, yes, whatever you need, Mr. Kojima, we'll give you. Speaking of which, how's Death Stranding 2 going for you from the amazing Kojima Productions?
So I have a problem, Matt.
Yep, it's delivering packages. I got it too.
Yeah, the problem is I cannot get away from trying to get 5 stars and delivering packages all night long. I need to push the story. So I'm in chapter 3, I want to say. I don't want to give away too much. We can talk offline sometime.
Sure.
Um, but I'm getting to the point where it's like, hey, you really should go do this, but I see a package and I see a mission and I see I could go do this. And then for anybody that's curious, I played Death Stranding, or rather, let me put it this way. I played Death Stranding 1 very passively. Because the combat was very meh. This feels like Kojima said, "Hey, you know what would be really cool? I don't know if he phoned up some of his old buddies or whatever, but a development team and said, "Hey, yo, I know you worked on I worked on Metal Gear Solid 5. You want to come help me work on Death Stranding 2? Because the combat is like this beautiful, there's just this underlying bit of what you saw in some of Kojima's late Metal Gear Solid artwork games. Um, I raid. I actively look at a base of enemies and I go, I need materials to build a road. I need materials to upgrade this. I need materials for this. I'm gonna go raid you, and and I'm gonna figure out which way I want to do it. I might be in the mood for stealth. I might be in the mood for sniping. I might be in the mood for running in there with a shotgun and hitting you in the chest with rock salt. Guess what? It all depends on my mood. Every attempt is enjoyable. But yeah, that's my ultimate problem is I keep getting sidetracked and I'm not pushing the story as fast as I feel I should, because we are already 2 weeks into this release and I know looking at the trophy list, I've only gotten like that much of the story
Yep.
done. And for the non-visuals out there who can't see me because
Mhm.
I don't have my camera on, I'm
1 inch.
I'm looking at about 1 inch into it.
Yep. Yeah, you nailed it. The combat, they enhanced it so much. And dude, you haven't, I'm on chapter 6. You haven't seen anything yet. And just wait till you get to chapter 5. That's all I'm going to say combat wise. Uh,
Ooh, now
oh
you're
my God.
talking.
Oh, dude, it's I watched what happened unfolding on screen and I literally said, "How the fuck did you do it, Kojima?" On a technical level, on just every level imaginable. This game has exceeded my expectations. I'm actually not doing 5 stars for most people. I try and get them between 3 and 4. But if Death Stranding 1 taught me anything, it's that you get tools uh, progressing into the story to make your package deliveries and basically the core gameplay mechanic so much easier. And you can go back to a previous place and do something in 3 minutes, whereas if you'd be spending 10 minutes if you didn't have that tool. So that's why I was like, because you were in a specific area, and I was like, Bob, progress the story. And you're like, but these packages, I need to deliver them. I need to get 5 stars on everyone. And I'm like, Bob, you're still on chapter 1. I'm telling you right now, progress the story. And you're like, all right. Are you glad you did? I hate to like impede in your gaming journey, but just trust me on this.
I say, I'm kind of glad I did because I really need to be told, Bob, you need to stop. If not, my tizzle will kick in hard, and I will spend hours and hours just deliver it. Dude, I'm telling you, Matt, I've gotten to the point where when I go to a site, I not only check the missions, but I go to the community packages, and I go. I'm the guy. I'm the asshole when you say, "Hey, entrust packages to other people." I'm the asshole that looks at it and goes, "Okay, cool. If I grab these ones and I stack up, that means I can do a route this way, and I'll drop them off for you." I'm that guy who's delivering the packages for the other players in Death Stranding.
That's
It's bad,
amazing.
man. It's bad. I'm terrible with this. I'll pick up random like materials and weapons and things like
Hmm.
that, and I'm like, oh, I don't need it. Guess what? Donate to other players. Donate to other players. I am just shaking and moving nonstop in this game, and I'm glad you do that because here you on chapter 6. I'm like, shit. I really need to get this story moving because if not, I'm going to spend the next 6 months playing this, and it's going to be Ghost of Yotei is the next game I play.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's gonna go right into Ghosts of Yotei at this point. It says I'm like 33%, and I've put in about 30 hours. So I've been doing a lot. I'm a road builder. Oh, I see a package in the distance. Gotta go grab it. Gotta go grab it from my people back at the farm or whatever. um, so yeah, I'm just telling you, I learned in Death Stranding 1, you have to progress the story. And I said that kind of selfishly because there was a big story beat that I wanted to talk to you about where you were like, oh, and you got there. So we'll talk more about that offline or maybe in a spoiler cast we do in the future. Who knows? Because this is crazy story, man. Chapter 5 was a wild ride. Let me tell you that.
Yes,
But
it was.
I think I'm gonna stop progressing the story as much as I did. I'm gonna, play around in the sandbox for a little bit, go explore, and yeah, we're building roads, we're delivering packages, we're picking up those chiralium deposits, we're mining, all kinds of stuff. This game is incredible. No story spoilers, of course, but Kojima has done it again, and I love it. I love the journey. It's just such a cozy game. It's a vibe, man. It's a vibe. And there's an item you get, I think you're close to it, that really helps you vibe during the entire game, whatever you're doing. Let me just say that.
All right, I think I know what you're talking about. We'll chat with it offline.
Yeah.
But yeah, final thoughts. This is Kojima at his peak, man. That's all I got to say.
Yep, and we're going to talk way more about it in probably in the next 5 episodes because I mean I'm going to platinum this game and I'm going to pour probably another 100 hours into it, and I'm going to take my time. Sometimes, dude, I just look at the scenery because this game is gorgeous. Uh, yeah. Final thoughts. Incredible game. And I can't wait to play more. And we'll talk about it way more on future episodes. So if you're playing it, let us know what you think of it. And this has been episode 11. It's kind of an Xbox rant, some news, a little bit on the negative side, but ranted about Xbox because boy, they need some work. But this has been episode 11. We appreciate you listening, and you guys have a great rest of your day.
Peace.
Shapes of Gaming is a podcast shaped around gaming and, most importantly, our community. That's you. It is written, created, and recorded in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado by me, Matt Stenson, and my good friend Bob Harriman. If you would like to be part of this amazing community, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on all the social media platforms or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks so much for listening, and always remember, keep the conversation going, and most importantly, keep gaming.